Rou, hey man,
Yo, how you doing?
good, thank you. I've been looking forward to this for all week, man. I'm super excited. Thanks for taking the time.
No, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So you guys have been super busy. Obviously, you've just got off the Europe leg of your tour for, I guess, for the whole world. How was that?
Um, Really good. Yeah, it's just a whirlwind at the moment. Everything's a blur. Yeah, I mean, we were in Japan like a few weeks ago, and then Germany, Netherlands, and tonight is the last show of our UK run here in London. So yeah, it's just been mad.
Yeah, excellent. There's been some really good photos on Instagram that I saw. Looks like you guys were having a blast. But the photo of in Germany of you crowd surfing, it looked like you were having the best time of your life.
Oh, awesome. But yeah, man. The which show was it? The Cologne show was just madness over. Maybe it was from that one. I can't remember when I crowd surfed or not. There was one point I know I definitely crowd surfed in Cologne because it was so hot. It was one of them typical like dingy, low ceiling venues where it's just sweat dripping off the walls. And I remember like crowd surfing into the middle. I don't know, like sort of 6 meters out into the crowd or whatever, because someone had an actual fan, as it, like a cooler fan. And I was like, oh, cool, mate, cool. And they were just like fanning me whilst I was crowd surfing. It was great.
Oh, that's excellent. Was there any other standout moments from like Japan or anything like that?
Um, Japan. Well, we did Knotfest, which
Yeah,
was
that was that.
awesome. Anytime you're playing with Slipknot, it's always an amazing day. But yeah, I don't know. My memory's so fuzzy with Japan, especially because I didn't even get onto the time zone. We were there for like three nights. I spent most of my time just like walking through Tokyo, like sort of 2 a.m., which was like so beautiful. Like everything was really quiet, but it was still like mad and lights and all the madness of Tokyo. But yeah, no, we love Japan so much. It's such a pleasure to be able to go back there. It's just so different. It's mad.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I've been absolutely smashing the new singles. Obviously, we've got Please Set Me on Fire, It Hurts, and Bloodshot, which have been destroying my fiance's ears. She hates it. Just any of the heavier music, not just you guys in particular, but I'm loving it. And I know all the other fans that are chewing at the bit to get the new album. The new singles seem a bit more direct and aggressive in comparison to anything that we got from Nothing Is True and Everything Is Possible. But obviously, having said that, Enter Shikari can't be put into a box. It's a beast that can't be tamed. Everything's always evolving. Is there more, like those 3 tracks, is it going to be more aggressive and direct with the new album?
It's definitely a more like focused album. I think the songs came out, I write very instinctually, and the songs were coming out very high energy. And I think there's a bit more like, I don't know, it's like self-assuredness, confidence in terms of the songwriting. So like, I'm now not afraid to go like, okay, this is a great melody. We're just going to make a song that supports that. And so the songs are quite short and sharp and just, they're like, we started joking very early on in the process that we're like, should we just make an album full of bangers? And it was sort of a joke at first, but then that's kind of how it sort of developed. Whereas I think in the past, we've always just thrown everything at a song, there's like so many layers. Sometimes it goes on mad journeys, and I love those songs, and I don't want to demean them, but like, I think now we've got to the stage where like, there's no self-indulgence. There's no like hiding, low self-esteem by throwing loads of things and trying to be everything and trying to be like the best at everything. Like now it's just like, no, you know what? That's a banging melody. That's all the song needs. Let's just support it. So yeah, there's a bit more focus.
Excellent. No, that's cool. And obviously, you guys are known to have very lyrically, you guys have focused on political and social issues as well as mental well-being, which is obviously very important in today's day and age. With the state of the world over the last 3 years, what sort of things have you focused on for the new album?
Christ, yeah, all sorts really. There was a lot of soul searching for me during the sort of pandemic period, because we stopped playing shows, obviously, and I also stopped writing music. I feel like without the shows, I basically just couldn't. It was like my mind just switched off. And if you can't share music with people physically, then there's no point in writing music. It was very, very weird time.
Thank you for picking up.
Yeah, yeah, it was very strange. It was such a relief when I was able to start writing again. But yeah, it's something that that we're, I think, just really like grateful for, like now that we're able to write music and we're able to be together and feel like a band again, because it was really like we just became dormant for a while, and it was just like quite terrifying, really. But sorry, I've completely forgotten the question. I'm just rambling.
The focus is on the new album. Has it been based around what you guys went through with the pandemic? And
oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So there was a lot of like me trying to work out who I was outside of Shikari, because it was like Shikari didn't exist anymore. And I've been Rou from Enter Shikari since I was 16. So I was like, suddenly I was just Rou, and I was like, well, who is that? And yeah, I just went on a big sort of philosophical journey, and sort of came to the conclusion that no one really knows who they really are. We're quite fluid creatures, we're like constantly evolving, we're constantly changing, and it's not really something to be like frightened of. And we can be many people. I feel like there's, the song "I Don't Know You Anymore," the last track on the album, the second to last track, Giant Pacific
Octopus. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that's all about like, we can be many different people, and like, it's, the sort of cliched advice of when people are just like, oh, don't worry about it, just be yourself. It's like, what does that mean? Like, I can be so different in many different situations. Like, what, So yeah, there was a lot of soul searching. There was also a lot of, effectively, there was a year and a half without me writing. So that's a year and a half of experiences, emotions that have gone into this album. Well, and then some, because then there was the year that we wrote the album. So there's a lot crammed in. It's a proper cocktail of emotions. But there's tracks on there about the dynamics of power, which is the more sort of political edge to the album, I suppose, and how important it is to feel emboldened. And that's one of the main things I want this album to do, with its high energy, with its sense of positivity. I want people to feel empowered listening to this, because at the moment, I think more and more people are just opting for nihilism, just opting for like, oh, I can't do anything, so like, I'm just going to look after myself. Like, and that's exactly what obviously people in power want from their subjects, from what they want from the public, because they want the status quo to remain the status quo. So it's, I want people to feel empowered. I want people to feel unified and active, really. So hopefully it's a very activating and energizing album. There's tracks on there about joy and how important that is, as a unifying force, as a motivating force. There's all sorts of stuff on there.
Yeah, awesome. I remember hearing the previous album, "Nothing Is True and Everything Is Possible," just after it released. But I went back and listened to it recently, coming up to this interview, and I noticed there was some very foreshadowing commentary in it, especially in the song "Modern Living." Have you always been a soothsayer and been able to predict the future? Is there going to be more, hidden prophecies in this new album?
I think that was one of the reasons why I also wasn't able to write during the pandemic, because I didn't really know what to write about, because I felt like we'd addressed many of the things that were sort of happening. You know, the way we treat animals, the way we treat the environment, these are the things that increase the likelihood of pandemics to appear and to spread. The terrible aspects of the way we have our healthcare systems. I mean, actually, Australia isn't as bad, anywhere near as bad as, say, UK or the US in terms of healthcare, but the criticisms that we've made of those systems came very much to light during the pandemic. The NHS here in the UK was absolutely brought to his knees. It's disgusting how much it's been underfunded over the years. And so, like, all these aspects of the pandemic, I was like, well, we've already addressed them. I've already said what I want to say. And like, I never want to be a band that's repeating itself, you know. We're all about exploration and like progressiveness. So yeah, I don't know. You know, hopefully it's certainly none of the darker songs on the album. I hope they don't come true. But yeah, no, it's I think with us, we just always have our ear to the ground, and I feel very lucky in a way that I have the time to sort of process things that happen in the world and like research things. And so we're always going to be, you know, we're always going to have an idea of like where we're going wrong. And I mean, that's what my book, A Treatise on Possibility, the sort of accompanying book to the last album, that's what that's all about, the direction that humanity's headed in, and how drastically we need to change that direction.
Yeah, excellent. Cool. Yeah, it was really cool going back and listening to, you know, the previous album. But I remember for the first time I ever heard, obviously, Sorry You're Not a Winner. That was, you know, back in my high school days in the computer lab, and a mate threw it on YouTube when that was sort of just starting to get really, really big. You know, the mixture of like the heavy guitars and screams and then the synth sort of stuff and stuff. It was great. Do you guys still rotate all that sort of stuff, like your earlier tracks when touring?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I think we're always trying. Well, I suppose first and foremost, we try and have a set list that's super varied, that shows the true breadth of the Shikari palette. But then, yeah, we always want to like represent each era of the band. You know, like nostalgia is such a powerful thing, and people want to be reminded of the, you know, the various memories that they have of those songs when it came out, and they want to still connect with their friends over those songs. So yeah, we always try and have a set that includes a bit of at least a track from every album, you know, or something.
Yeah, excellent. Obviously, Sorry You're Not a Winner is obviously a fan favorite. But my favorite track, the one that always, you know, pumps me up when I'm in a bad mood and stuff like that, is Slipshod. I have to ask, what's the story behind Slipshod? Because it is an amazing piece.
It's we've actually just started playing that on these little 5 shows we've just been doing. It's been a while, but yeah, I mean, it's the most ridiculous song we've ever written. It's so like we basically, so this was going back to Flash Flood of Color era, and we were working really hard on Flash Flood. And I remember our then producer, our really good friend Dan Weller, he said, like, should we just like have a night off where we just like, you know, let's still like record and create, but let's just, you know, just relax and just do something of it. And we ended up just all getting pretty drunk and just like, we were almost like, it was like drama class. We were like play acting, you know, like being in a restaurant and just like everything going wrong and just being stupid. And yeah, it ended up making a song out of it. It just took one evening, which is into the early hours. And it was just great, you know, because it now just reminds me of like, it's like really endearing for me to know that we still have those moments in our music. You know, we still have those songs where it's like, it's just friends having fun, you know, and that's sometimes all music needs to be. So it's almost like a palate cleanser, you know, when there's obviously lots of serious topics that we delve into and, you know, in quite some detail. So it's nice to have those, like, you know, life isn't just serious. Like, I don't want Enter Shikari to be just a serious thing. Like, humor is a is a powerful tool, I think, really, to keep us sane. So that's exactly what Slipshod, as insane as it sounds as a song, that's exactly what it's doing. It's keeping us sane.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. So what's up next for Enter Shikari? Are you heading back down this way? I know it's only been 7 months since you were here, but I missed it and I need you to come back so I can be there.
We are working on it. I can't actually remember when we're looking at, but we're booking a tour at the moment. But there's so many tours and dates going around my head. But yeah, it's we will be back to Australia, and we can't wait.
Yeah, cool. I can't wait either. And obviously, you guys know you're always welcome down here, and we can't wait to have you back. But I won't take up any more of your time, man. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Looking forward to the new album, A Kiss for the Whole World. That's out on April 21st.
That's the one.
Excellent.
Not long now.
Yeah, count down the days. We'll have all the links down in the show description. So thank you so much for your time, man. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Big up.